Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to 168 Hours, your weekly roundup of the top local stories. I'm Hafiz Abdul Sattar, your host for the evening. Stay tuned. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz calls on the public to uphold their duty to preserve and transmit the nation's heritage, including its religion, language, traditions, and historical legacy, is a trust to future generations. His remarks, delivered in observance of a National Heritage Day, affirmed that safeguarding these foundations is essential to the survival of the Maldivian nation.
National Heritage Day, commemorated annually on 12 September, marks the ratification of the Maldives' first heritage law in 2019. This year's occasion was marked by messages from both President Muizu and First Lady Sajida Mohammed, each highlighting the role of cultural preservation in sustaining the country's identity. In his statement, the President described the safeguarding of heritage as a solemn obligation. He identified Islam, the Divehi language, traditional customs, indigenous craftsmanship, archaeological sites and artifacts, and the nation's historical narrative as the most treasured components of Maldivian heritage. These elements, he stated, must be passed on as a national trust. Since taking office, President Muizu has placed heritage protection at the center of his administration's agenda. The government has developed strategic plans to honor and maintain cultural assets while also establishing funding mechanisms to support long-term preservation. Among the initiatives launched is a dedicated project in Ha Alif Atoll designed to protect heritage sites and generate income through their responsible use. The administration has also inaugurated a National Heritage College to advance research and education in the field. This effort is complemented by the establishment of a National Center for Heritage Studies tasked with investigating the origins and historical trajectory of the Maldivian people, compiling data, and cultivating expertise in heritage-related disciplines. Educational pathways in heritage studies have been expanded to support professional development. First Lady Sajida Mohammed echoed the President's message with a call to instill cultural values in the younger generation. She characterized Maldivians as people rooted in discipline, industriousness, and moral integrity, and highlighted the importance of transmitting these qualities to children. Her remarks described the national character as one defined by diligence, energy, and friendliness, attributes she deemed essential to the country's identity. She affirmed that national heritage sites, the Divehi language, and the cultural traditions inherited from Maldivian forebears represent a sacred trust. She noted heritage encompasses both tangible and intangible expressions of nationhood. Its careful transmission, she concluded, is vital to preserving the Maldives' unique identity for generations to come.
The Supreme Court lauds a historic decision by President Dr. Mohammad Muiz's administration to allocate a fixed percentage of state revenue to the judiciary as a block grant, a move hailed as a significant step toward ensuring its financial independence.
The grant, set to be included in next year's state budget, is expected to resolve long-standing financial issues and accelerate the administration of justice. The decision made by the cabinet was welcomed in a statement from the Supreme Court, which said the initiative would help establish and strengthen an independent judiciary in the Maldives. President Dr. Muizu has initiated legal and systematic reforms to provide this decision with the necessary legal authority to become a sustainable measure. The Supreme Court statement expressed hope that the block grant would offer a long-term solution to the financial problems plaguing the judiciary. The court noted that a lack of financial autonomy has historically been a barrier to the judiciary's ability to operate without external influence. Under the new system, the judiciary will receive a block grant based on a specific percentage of state revenue, a departure from previous budget ceilings. The President has affirmed that the new allocation would be higher than the current budget ceiling for the judiciary, ensuring its complete financial independence. In addition to securing the judiciary's financial independence, the administration is focused on improving the overall justice system, which includes plans to construct a superior court complex in Hurumale to address the persistent shortage of court space. This and other systematic changes are part of a broader effort to ensure a more efficient and effective judicial system. The Supreme Court expressed its gratitude to President Dr. Muizu for his commitment to reinforcing the integrity and functionality of the judicial system.
The Maldives expresses a full support for the endorsement of the New York Declaration on the peaceful settlement of the question of Palestine and the implementation of the two-state solution. The resolution endorsing the declaration was adopted at the second plenary meeting of the 80th session of the UN General Assembly.
The resolution was passed by the General Assembly with 142 votes in favor, 10 against, and 12 abstentions. This declaration is the outcome document of the high-level international conference for the peaceful settlement of the question of Palestine and the implementation of the two-state solution, co-chaired by the governments of France and Saudi Arabia and held at the United Nations from the 28th to the 30th of July 2025. The declaration conveys a strong commitment to a just and lasting resolution of the Palestinian conflict with a clear vision for the establishment of an independent, sovereign, economically viable, and democratic Palestinian state. It reinforces the principles of international law, including respect for territorial integrity, human rights, and the right to self-determination. The Maldives reaffirms its commitment to an independent and sovereign state of Palestine based on the pre-1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital in accordance with the relevant United Nations resolutions and international law.
President Dr. Mohammad Muiz says declarations such as the New York Declaration on the peaceful settlement of the question of Palestine and the implementation of the two-state solution are vital to strengthening international consensus and ensuring accountability for the rights of the Palestinian people.
In a post shared on his official X account, President Muiz welcomed the United Nations General Assembly's endorsement of the New York Declaration, reiterating the Maldives' support for the declaration and its call for collective international action. He stressed that such efforts are crucial for strengthening global consensus and safeguarding the rights of the Palestinian people. The president further underscored that the Maldives continues to advocate for an independent and sovereign state of Palestine based on the pre-1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital. The Maldives remains committed to working with the international community towards a two-state solution and consistently voices solidarity with the Palestinian cause.
The Attorney General's Office AGO marks its 75th anniversary with a formal ceremony in the capital where President Dr. Mohammad Muiz presented awards to the longest-serving employees, underscoring the state's enduring commitment to its legal institutions. The event conveyed former attorneys general, current staff, and prominent figures from the legal community and served as a platform for Attorney General Ahmadou Sham to articulate a renewed institutional vision grounded in transparency, accountability, and constitutional independence. Recognition was extended to 36 individuals for their long-term service to the AGO. Awards were categorized by tenure. 22 employees were honored for 15 to 20 years of service, 5 for 20 to 25 years, and 9 for more than 25 years. President Muiz presented awards to the 7 longest-serving staff members, while Attorney General Usham conferred honors upon the remaining recipients. Those recognized held a range of roles including administrative personnel, support staff, human resources officers, computer technicians, directors, and procurement specialists. The ceremony also paid tribute to the memory of former employees who had served the office and have since passed away. In his address, Attorney General Usham reflected on the AGO's institutional evolution, describing its formal establishment as a distinct entity as a pivotal development in the country's legal architecture. He positioned the office as central to the advancement of a legal framework anchored in integrity and public trust. The adoption of the 2008 Constitution, Usham noted, marked a turning point in the AGO's mandate. He added that the office has continued to adapt to the evolving needs of the society and the increasing complexities of governance. Attorney General Usham also addressed the Attorney General's Office Act, describing it as essential to strengthening the office's administrative structure, clarifying its mandate and securing its independence as envisioned by the Constitution. He acknowledged that despite its importance, the law has yet to be fully implemented due to various constraints. Turning to the present administration, Attorney General Usham commended President Moise's leadership for advancing the AGO's autonomy. He went on to clarify that the AGO's remit extends beyond the provision of legal counsel to the government. Its role, he said, is instrumental in ensuring the full and effective operation of all branches of the state. He noted engagements with these institutions are not merely procedural, but serve to reinforce the democratic fabric. Attorney General Usham reiterated the AGO's responsibility to safeguard the rights and freedoms of the Maldivian people, affirming its commitment to institutional integrity, responsiveness, and legal robustness. In closing, Attorney General Usham described the AGO as more than a legal institution. It stands, he said, as a symbol of the nation's enduring commitment to justice, fairness, equality, and the rule of law. As the AGO enters its 76th year, he called for continued vigilance in upholding these foundational principles and serving the Maldivian public with honor and integrity. The government is opposed to implement stringent measures against individuals and entities involved in the exploitation of foreign workers, with strict enforcement set to begin from 15th September.
This initiative marks a crucial step in the government's broader efforts to tackle the prevalent issues of undocumented foreign workers in the Maldives, being addressed through a comprehensive three-phase strategy in collaboration with relevant agencies. The Ministry of Homeland Security and Technology highlights a growing crisis where large sums are taken from foreigners who are then brought into the Maldives and effectively abandoned, often without their official documents. This practice frequently funnels them into the undocumented immigrant population, contributing to human trafficking and a breakdown of regulatory control, as the details are not properly registered upon entry. To combat this, the government has outlined a clear framework of penalties. From 15th September, individuals found exploiting foreign workers will face immediate action. Employers who neglect the foreigners they bring in, fail to pay salaries, exploit workers, assign them to jobs different from their permits, or neglect to fulfill basic legal and regulatory requirements will incur a fine of $3,242 under the Employment Act. More severe infractions following under Article 65 of the Employment Act will attract a hefty $6,484 fine. The urgency of these measures is underscored by the escalating number of undocumented immigrants who have not paid work permits, visa fees, and other state dues. Such individuals are reportedly engaging in significant unrecorded economic activities and causing growing social and health concerns within the Maldivian community. In response, the government has initiated data collection on all foreigners, actively working to integrate them into the expatriate system. Employers are now mandated to settle outstanding fees for their foreign workers, with non-compliant entities facing suspension from the expat portal. A grace period of 1 year has been granted for the payment of these accumulated fees, signaling a determined push to regularize the foreign workforce and uphold the rule of law.
The Maldives Monetary Authority (MMA) states the Maldives official reserve assets reached 810.05 million US dollars at the end of August, marking a 4.5% increase compared to July.
This positive trend in official reserves reflects various government efforts to strengthen the nation's foreign currency holdings. As of August, official reserves reached 810.05 million US dollars, marking a healthy 4.5% month-on-month increase from July's 774.5 million US dollars. This headline growth was further complemented by 117.22 million US dollars in securities, investments, and other foreign currency assets not formally included in official reserves, bringing the total foreign currency holdings higher. However, this positive trend in gross reserves is overshadowed by a significant rise in the nation's short-term foreign exchange obligations. These payables surged to 738.63 million US dollars in August, up from 688.24 million US dollars in the preceding month. This increase in immediate liabilities has directly impacted the nation's usable reserves, a critical metric that reflects the foreign exchange available for immediate deployment by deducting short-term obligations from official reserves and other foreign currency assets. Consequently, usable reserves plunged by 11.5% month-on-month, standing at 188.64 million US dollars in August, a notable decrease from July's 213.22 million US dollars. The MMA has been implementing several strategies to enhance reserves, including utilizing 60% of the US dollars received by banks to bolster reserves under the new foreign exchange law. Foreign exchange earnings from tourism have also increased this year, contributing to the positive change in official reserves. The 400 million US dollar currency swap signed with the Reserve Bank of India under the SARC framework has also played a crucial role in alleviating foreign currency shortages and supporting the country's liquidity needs. The government is actively working to bring about a positive change in the official reserves, as the MMA is expected to pay more than 1 billion US dollars next year.
Speaker of the Parliament Abdul Rahim Abdullah underscores the fundamental strengthening of the nation's democracy is inextricably linked to the robust development of its political party system and policies.
In an exclusive interview with PSM News on the occasion of International Democracy Day, the speaker emphasized that in a mature democracy, political parties, despite their inherent influences, must prioritize national interest and engage in constructive dialogue within the noble principles of democratic governance. He asserted that the Maldives' democracy will flourish in direct proportion to the strength and integrity of its political framework. The speaker also highlighted the critical importance of the right to vote, describing it as the primary conduit for citizens to make their voices heard, and defining a government elected by the people as democracy's most beautiful characteristic. He urged all citizens to exercise this constitutional right, framing it as an essential civic responsibility, and cautioned against the disengagement that leads to criticizing electoral process without fulfilling one's duty. Acknowledging the significant strides the Maldives has made in democratic awareness and development, the speaker expressed profound optimism for the nation's future. He expressed firm belief that by consistently adhering to democratic rules and principles, and by recognizing and protecting the rights of all involved parties, the Maldives is poised to become an exemplary democracy on the global stage with a strong future.
The Election Commission of Maldives ECM unveils a plan for a comprehensive 5-year program aimed at strengthening the nation's democratic system.
Announced by ECM President Mohammad Zahid during an interview with PSM News on the occasion of International Democracy Day, the initiative's primary goal is to significantly boost public confidence in the democratic process. Zahid stressed the importance of educating citizens on how the system operates to ensure their full and meaningful participation. He called upon political parties, noting their substantial state funding for parties with over 10,000 members, to intensify efforts in engaging their members at the island level and integrating them into democratic activities. Recognizing a concerning lack of confidence among the youth, Zahid emphasized that a truly robust democratic environment requires the collaborative efforts of the ECM, political parties, and the general public. According to Zahid, this concerted 5-year program seeks to cultivate a democratic system that is not only beneficial but also deeply accepted by all Maldivians, paving the way for the country's sustained development and progress.
President Dr. Mohamed Muiz returns to Male following an official visit to Qatar, where he participated in the Emergency Arab Islamic Summit convened in Doha on 15th September.
The summit, held under the aegis of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, or OIC, brought together leaders from member states to articulate a unified response to the Israeli attack on Qatar and to advocate for international protections of Palestinian rights. In his address to the summit, President Muiz condemned the Israeli airstrike on Doha that occurred on the 9th of September, describing the attack as a crime against humanity. He characterized the strike as a direct affront to the dignity of the Arab and Islamic world and urged global powers to hold Israel accountable for war crimes and restore peace across the region. He also drew attention to Israel's broader conduct in Gaza, Palestine, citing the targeted killing of Palestinian doctors, journalists, humanitarian workers, and civilians. Warning that Gaza was being turned to ashes without hesitation, he stressed the urgency of robust countermeasures. President Muiz stated Israel's actions are not the conduct of a state seeking peace, but of an aggressor that thrives on perpetual war and commits crimes against humanity. He added, by normalizing brutality and weaponizing fear, it seeks to extinguish the hopes of an entire people. His remarks included praise for Qatar's diplomatic efforts, which he said should be recognized and not met with displeasure and oppression. During a bilateral meeting held on the sidelines of the summit, President Muiz met with the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. He extended condolences for the lives lost in the attack, referring to the deceased as martyrs, and reaffirmed the Maldives' commitment to supporting Qatar's efforts to advance regional peace. The leaders also explored opportunities to deepen bilateral relations and expand cooperation across sectors of mutual interest. President Muiz expressed appreciation for Qatar's ongoing assistance to the Maldives and commended its leadership in humanitarian and mediation initiatives concerning Palestine. The visit, undertaken at a pivotal moment for the Islamic world, provided a platform for the Maldives to reaffirm its commitment to international law and the protection of human rights. A statement issued by the President's office described the engagement as reinforcing diplomatic ties between the Maldives and Qatar and underscoring the Maldives' long-standing commitment to defending human dignity, justice, and the rights of all peoples to live freely from oppression and occupation.
The Ministry of Economic Development and Trade, in collaboration with a global e-commerce giant Alibaba, host a one-day workshop at Baslo, Nesundura in Male for local businesses seeking to expand their product portfolio to international markets.
The Ministry of Economic Development states the workshop, attended by over 700 participants, physical and online from across the Maldives, aimed to equip local businesses with the skills to leverage online platforms and expand into international markets. Top executives from the Alibaba platform led sessions, focusing on practical aspects such as opening seller accounts, advertising and selling products, and utilizing the platform's artificial intelligence tools to identify market trends. Participants also gained insights into securing financing for goods and services sold online and exploring opportunities for shipping and logistics. This initiative aligns with the government's strategic goal of boosting the creative industry's contribution to 15% of the country's GDP, with a strong emphasis on exporting Maldivian products globally. Alibaba, with its presence in over 200 countries and millions of active sellers, offers a significant avenue for local businesses to reach a wider international audience. The platform's capabilities include showcasing more than 400,000 products daily and facilitating sales of over 5,900 product categories, providing a substantial opportunity for business expansion. The workshop demonstrates a key step towards achieving President Dr. Mohamed Muiz's pledge to facilitate access for Maldivian enterprises to major international e-commerce platforms and diversify the nation's economy through digital transformation. This initiative is part of a broader governmental effort to build formal ties with globally recognized e-commerce platforms.
And that's all we have for now. Thank you for watching 168 Hours. See you next time.